So many people, though, are kind of taking advantage of the summer. So much different than last summer. Excuse me, I will say the feeling kind of in the atmosphere, getting out and talking with a lot of my friends. And we recently had my sister, she flew in from Arizona for Father's Day. So people are starting to get out and travel more. They feel more comfortable and they're flying a lot more as well.
Yeah, people are really getting back out and traveling again and going back to many of our airports, which is great for the businesses that, of course, are in some of these airports. Most notably, of course, would be some of our international airports like Gerald R. Ford and Grand Rapids, and of course Detroit Metro Airport. A lot of local businesses that are in there too, but also for these airlines that have been really trying to pinch every dollar out of their business over the course of the pandemic, while also trying their best in some cases to maintain safety.
I was out near the Oakland County airport
Yes.
yesterday, driving out to some stores in that area yesterday. Saw quite a few planes coming and going. And with that, we should remember it's not just the big airports, there are so many other airports here
Yes.
locally as well. So we want to bring in David VanderVeen. He's the Director of Central Services for Oakland County. Great to have you with us. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Ronnie?
I think about the last time we talked to you. Pretty much no one was flying at that point in time.
That's correct. I, I have a lot of news for you, but I have to say, first of all, I think I'd rather talk about, given the heat, the ice cream segment you had on the last program. That sounded more appealing. And then you were talking about rain, and we had about 3 or 4 inches at the airport, and that can equate, depending on moisture, to about 1 foot of snow for every inch of rain. So we could have been dealing with 30, 40 inches of snow instead of the rain this last weekend. I'll take the rain.
We'll
Yeah.
take the rain.
Wow.
See, it makes me appreciate it that much more. Thank you for, it's all about perspective, right? Life is all about perspective.
Correct.
So if
So,
things are better though,
oh, we're good. Absolutely. We in both general aviation and the commercial airlines. We're general aviation. Incidentally, Ron, we consider ourselves not a small airport. We're the second busiest airport in the state of Michigan to Detroit Metro. So even though we don't have the commercial airlines, we have a lot of traffic. What causes that is we cater to business and industry, executive travel, chartered travel, air freight, medical emergencies, pleasure flying. Virtually every Fortune 500 company in America comes into Oakland County through that airport every year. So
wow.
we make up about 95% of the airplanes in the United States. And we were down, and last year we were down about 12%. We didn't get hit quite as hard as the airlines did. And frankly, general aviation is, you have more control over the environment. We could, the sanitation aspects of the COVID-19, we could control that better in smaller, less populated airplanes. So we didn't get hit quite as bad as the airlines did. We were down, as I say, 12%. Airline traffic last year was down maybe 60, 70%. But they're back now too. The Memorial Day weekend on that Friday, over the United States, 2 million people flew, and so that is back to pre-COVID levels.
But David, if I can ask you, because while the general public population may be more comfortable and getting on an airplane and starting to fly more and travel more, what about the business industry? Do you anticipate it's going to get back to the level in which it was once? Because now, with Zoom and other video electronic conferencing, doesn't that save a lot of companies a lot of money?
Well, it does in concept, but I think there's still nothing better than a face-to-face contact. For example, I would just as soon be in the studio with you right now than on Zoom. But no, I understand that our society is going to go some changes. Certainly, people will be more working at home. There'll be a need for less travel, but general aviation, you still have air charter when people need to be face to face. We still have air freight. I think the business of aviation will continue to come back just as strong as it's always been.
So, with that, there in Oakland County, things are picking up. But would you say it's pre-pandemic levels right now,
Yeah,
or
no question. We're back.
really? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. We are going to have some delays this summer. In fact, a week from tomorrow, we'll be starting the resurfacing of our major runway, and we'll have to rehabilitate the whole runway. That's a project. It's $11.5 million project, which is quite an expense, but we need to do it. Potholes don't work in runways. And,
No, they don't work
that
on runways and they don't work on regular roadways either, but
right.
especially on runways.
But exactly. So we have to maintain a good surface out there. The project's going to take, they estimate 115 days. So we'll be under construction from now until the end of October. We do have a parallel runway, which will take a lot of the traffic that ordinarily would use the main runway. So we will not be closed. We'll still be open.
That's good. So again, David VanderVeen with us here on the MegaCast. He's the Director of Central Services for Oakland County. And if I can ask you, David, too, when we're talking about the airport, so much focus right now is based on employees and employee shortage and staffing levels. How is that looking right now in the aviation center out there at Oakland County?
From the airport standpoint, our employees are critical to keep the airport operating. We've maintained the staff as we always have. There's something attractive about aviation. We have not noticed the shortage in our staff yet. However, we're going to return to a pilot/aviation mechanic shortage. With things resuming as they were, we have a lot of people retiring in aviation. Of course, they've undergone the same stresses that a lot of other industries have. We've got a short-term reprieve from that, but I think the number of pilots and the number of aviation mechanics is going to be critical in the next few years.
How do we attract that next generation?
Well, America's always had a romance with flying. I think that, and the salaries of the pilots, it takes you a while to get there, but they're very attractive salaries when you get to the airlines and the major air freight carriers. We have, by the way, speaking of romance with aviation, we have coming to the airport July 8th through 11th. That's just right around the corner. The Air Power History Tour, which is put on by the Commemorative Air Force, and we'll have the B-24, which was made at Willow Run, the Liberator, and during World War II, and we'll have a P-51, the number of fighter jets, and those will be on display on the ramp, and also they'll offer air rides. Now, the air rides, I understand, are booked, but you can tour the cockpits and see the airplanes. There's a slight fee to it, $20 for adults. Youth is 11 to 17 is $10, and kids are free under 11. And it's really, they need to charge to keep, this is a nonprofit group to keep the airplanes operational, and it's quite exciting for the kids and adults to come out. So that's July 11th through 17th.
And again, that's open to the public, David?
Excuse me, July 8th through July 11th. I spoke. Okay. Yes, that is open to the public. We invite people to come out and see the aircraft.
Now, this is different than the actual air show that you typically put on every year?
Yeah, unfortunately, because of COVID, we're not going to be able to have an open house air show this year. By the time we announced, or the governor announced that we could open things back up, we didn't have enough time to book the acts. And besides that, we'll be under construction in the main runway. So we'll have to that's one thing we'll have to postpone till next year. But next year we'll be back.
Just about 5 minutes left here on the MegaCast. Again, we're speaking with David VanderVeen. He's the Director of Central Services for Oakland County. And we'll look forward to the air show. And so many people should realize as we go into the summer months and everything is starting to reopen. Like, of course, we know the big fireworks are happening tonight, but it's not open to the public. And it's because these events, David, as you just mentioned, they take months of planning. And you're trying to navigate this post-pandemic world when the restrictions were still in place. But when it comes to the actual airport, you are back. You're pretty much running operations as normal. Is the airport actually open 24/7?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Just to let you know, I bought a lotto ticket for this weekend, and if I won the Mega Millions, I'm going to buy a private airplane so I can fly in and out of there because it's so much closer to my home.
If you need a pilot, I can find one for you. I'll retrain myself. I need to be, but thank you. I do need to. If we have a shortage of time, I understand. But
no, you're good. Keep going.
I want to bring something to your attention, Ronnie, that you will be hearing probably more about, and that is the PFAS issue. Are you familiar with that at all?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. As you know, it's a large group of man-made chemicals. You use it every day, and your carpet, clothing, your household pots and pans, and the chemical is very resistant to heat, water, and oil. It's also very effective in fighting fires. The FAA has required us to use that. Actually, PFAS has been around since the mid-60s, but we're required by the FAA to use it. And at the same time now, federally, the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Michigan Department of Environment and Great Lakes and Energy, EGLE, are saying that an accumulation of PFAS is bad. And so we're among the 20 airports in the state of Michigan who are being tested for PFAS. And we have discovered some on the airport. And so we're going to continue to monitor it. There are a couple of good news at the end, good pieces of good news at the end of the tunnel. And that's we have never used PFAS for firefighting. I'd like to say we knew years ago that the accumulation of this in the environment is bad. I have to say in all candor, though, that's because the chemicals that are in the foam that we use to fight fires are so expensive that we decided to practice with water. So we've only used it a limited number of times. Actually, in the last 25 years, it's about 9 incidents at the airport. And the other piece of good news is that in 2018, the U.S. Congress, when they adopted the FAA Reauthorization Act, gave the FAA for 3 years to find another suitable firefighting foam. And so they haven't done it yet because of COVID delays, but we anticipate that will be occurring hopefully in the near future.
Well, that's great to learn and to know, and look at that. Sometimes cost-cutting measures have worked in our favor, and with that, we have to say it's always been great having you with us here on the show. Just about 30 seconds left here in the MegaCast. David VanderVeen with us here. He's the Director of Central Services for Oakland County. Again, people want to learn more information about the airport over there. How can they do so?
Well, our phone number, we have a website where we announce all of the big events coming up and include, we have a web page now devoted to the PFAS issue. So it's just check in with the county and the airport and go to the website.
We always appreciate your time and your expertise.